In just 9 seasons, one player led the NFL in rushing 8 times, never missed a single game, and averaged over 104 yards per game, something no other player in history has ever done. Then, at age 30, while still the best player in football, he walked away forever. But how on earth was this even possible? This is the story of how Jim Brown quite literally broke the NFL. To understand how he could dominate the NFL for 9 seasons, you have to understand what an incredible athlete he was. Before the NFL, Brown was a legend on campus. At Syracuse, he earned 10 letters across 4 sports: football, lacrosse, basketball, and track. All-American in football and lacrosse. The guy once said he'd rather play lacrosse 6 days a week and football on the 7th. Coaches in 3 sports swore he could have gone pro if he wanted. He chose football, and the rest of the NFL paid for that decision. So when Cleveland drafted him 6th overall in 1957, they knew they were getting something special. 6th. 5 teams made the worst mistake in franchise history. This rookie weighed 232 pounds. He was the same size as the men trying to stop him, only faster, stronger, and meaner with the ball. They wanted to tackle him. He wanted to run through them. He made them pay immediately. As a rookie, he led the league in rushing with 942 yards. Won Rookie of the Year. Won MVP. Made the Pro Bowl. The AP had never given that honor to a rookie before. Just a casual, perfect season. And remember, 1957 was the very first year the AP gave out their top player award. Jim Brown literally won the first major player award ever given to a rookie. Before you start typing in the comments, yes, it was technically called the NFL Most Outstanding Player Award back then, not MVP. We all know what it was. But wait, there's more insanity. In his 9th NFL game against the Rams, he put up numbers that sounded like they were from Madden, except Madden wouldn't be invented for another 30 years. 31 carries, 237 yards, 4 touchdowns. That broke the league record. No rookie had ever done it. No one else would for 50 years. The league had a new problem. It was spelled Brown. And this is where Jim Brown started messing with defenders' heads. Brown turned every tackle into a mind trick. He would take a crushing hit from a 250-pound linebacker, then get up real slow like he was bored. Not because he was hurt, because he wanted defenders to think about that hit all game long. Meanwhile, the guy who just tackled him would be gulping for air and wondering what he'd done with his life. Brown's philosophy was simple. Make sure when anyone tackles you, he remembers how much it hurts. Year 2, he did something that was impossible back then. The single-season rushing record was 1,146 yards, set by Steve Van Buren back in '49. Brown got 1,527 yards in just 12 games. He didn't just break the record, he destroyed it. 17 rushing touchdowns, almost double the next man's 9. Today, 17 touchdowns is pretty good. In 1958, it was impossible. But wait, it gets crazier. In '59, against the defending champion Baltimore Colts, Jim Brown scores 5 touchdowns in 1 game. That's still a Browns franchise record. Most players never score 5 in a season, against the reigning champs no less. Here's the part that bends your brain. 4 years later, against the Eagles, he apparently decided to do his rookie record again. 237 yards and 4 touchdowns, the exact same numbers. 3 weeks after that, he catches a simple swing pass against the Bears. Most running backs get 10 yards. Jim Brown turns it into a 77-yard touchdown, breaking 5 tackles and making it look effortless. The Browns lose the game. Nobody cares. They just watched magic. Cleveland built their entire offense around one concept: give Jim Brown the football. Nobody else has ever done this. Led the league in rushing 8 times in 9 seasons. Number 32 never missed a single game. Not one. His career average was over 104 rushing yards per game. No one else has averaged 100 for a career. Not Walter Payton, not Barry Sanders, not Emmitt Smith. Only Jim Brown sits in that seat. Brown never wore thigh or hip pads. While other players were padding up for protection, Brown was out there basically naked from the waist down, daring people to hit him harder. His stiff arm wasn't just a move, it was a weapon. He used his arms like battering rams, shoving off defenders like they were weightless. The greatest defenders in history had something to say about what Brown could do to them. Hall of Fame lineman Alex Karras told his teammates, "Just because you see me trying to tackle Jim Brown, don't stop coming to help. "I don't want this man dragging me down the field." Hall of Fame defensive back Mel Renfro admitted trying to tackle Brown was like hitting a brick wall. "He just ran right over the top of me," Renfro said. Giants linebacker Sam Huff said the only way to stop Brown was to grab hold, hang on, and wait for help. But Sam Huff once made the terrible decision to talk trash after flattening Brown twice for no gain. "Brown, you stink!" The next thing Huff saw was Brown breaking through the middle and streaking 65 yards for a touchdown. From the end zone, Brown called back, "Hey Sam, how do I smell from here?" For 9 years, every defensive coach started the week with the same plan: stop Jim Brown. For 9 years, the league failed. You could stack 8 men in the box. You could blitz and guess. He still averaged more than 5 yards a carry for his career. That's a first down every 2 plays. In 1964, Brown finally got his championship. Cleveland faced Johnny Unitas and the Colts in the title game. Baltimore had the best run defense in football for 1964, allowing only 128 rushing yards per game all season. Brown rushed for 114 yards by himself. The Browns won 27-0. Complete shutout. He always said, yardage isn't the big thing. Having your team win the championship is. That day, he had both. Now, here's where he separates from every other legend who ever lived. Even great players tail off. They slow a step. They feel every carry. Barry Sanders dipped from 6.1 to 4.3 yards per carry in his last season. Walter Payton was a warrior, and he still finished with human numbers. Even the greatest guys eventually look mortal. Jim Brown never looked mortal. In his final year, at age 30, he averaged 5.3 yards per carry. He led the league in rushing again with 1,544 yards. He walked into every stadium as the best player on the field. Then he retired. Except here's what's crazy. Jim Brown didn't retire because he was hurt or slow or anything like that. In the summer of 1966, he was in England filming the now classic war movie, The Dirty Dozen. The schedule ran long. Brown's owner, Art Modell, sent a warning: report to training camp or pay fines. This was how the league worked then in 1966. Owners barked, players obeyed. Modell thought his power would win the day. Brown didn't bend. He heard this ultimatum from one of the NFL's most powerful owners and walked away. Just like that, the Browns had lost the greatest player in NFL history. Can you even imagine? You're the best in the world at something. You're still getting better at it. You're making good money, and you just stop because you've got other stuff to do. That's not normal human behavior. That's Jim Brown behavior. Jim Brown went on to change the world after the NFL. The Cleveland legend retired and became a movie star, appearing in films like 100 Rifles and The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He became a force in civil rights. In 1967, he organized the Cleveland Summit, bringing together Muhammad Ali, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and other huge black athletes to support Ali when he refused to go to Vietnam. He later founded American, a program that helped gang members and inner-city kids get their lives together and change paths. People inside the NFL never stopped talking about it. Bill Belichick calls Jim Brown the greatest football player who ever lived. Tom Brady calls him the GOAT. When number 32 entered a room of fellow Hall of Famers, they would stand and applaud, a gesture of respect reserved for true legends. In 2002, the Sporting News asked football historians to rank the greatest players of all time. Jim Brown was number 1. Not the greatest running back, the greatest NFL player in history. When Jim Brown died in 2023, the NFL renamed their annual rushing title the Jim Brown Award. That wasn't a gesture, that was their way of saying he owned the position. For 9 seasons, the most competitive league in America belonged to one man. Then that man decided he had better things to do. The greatest power move in sports history wasn't a touchdown or a record or winning a championship. It was Jim Brown walking away from the greatest NFL career ever.